position. There's more cars off the road. They're all over the place. They're having a lovely time. Car number 7, Peter Brock, no less, the expert.
Yes, and a very smooth drive in his win last event, but he certainly had a little bit of untidiness there at Repco.
Kevin Bartlett, here's the old man of the road. I was down there chatting with him before this race, and I said, come on, Kevin, you're not really taking this seriously. And he said, oh, yes, I am. I'm out of these single-seaters now, and I'm really... And somebody giving him a tap in the rear end there. That was a little pushy. Oh, there's a near one, and of course, Charlie O'Brien's the man who's tucking in behind him. They are all over the road.
And there's tyres squealing galore as they come down to the start-finish line, and number 5, Kevin Bartlett, has still retained the lead, and I think we can only use the term retained.
You've never seen so many officials getting out of the way here as they're going along. They're bringing up the back right now, by the way, is Tony Edmonson, who obviously had troubles earlier on there. But you have to consider these are some of the best drivers that Australia's ever produced. Didier Pironi must be wondering what the hang's going on in there.
He would think it was one of those Renault races that they have in France where they've got cars all over the place.
Well, John Bowe there has got the red car into second place now. I haven't seen anything on there is Pironi. Car number 9, he's in there. That's the man we just took just now. He's looking at this summer madness with some interest and concern because remember, he's one of the entrants in the Grand Prix of Australia that takes place tomorrow. He's come many thousands of miles for this performance, and here he's watching a bunch of people who are using parts of the racetrack that are virgin territory.
And farming down on the outside as they approach their entry into the straight. But Kevin Bartlett still with the lead as he comes into Repco corner again.
So Kevin Bartlett's first, John Bowe second, Jim Richards is third, Charlie O'Brien is fourth. Down in number 10 is Colin, he's 5th, and then after him you've got Didier Pironi in 6th position. These are the top 6 as they go in here. Remember, 11 starters. They've got to run tomorrow again. They've got to race with the same cars, so if they damage them beyond repair, it's their loss. So obviously there is some concern with regards to keeping a few door handles on there, although the opening laps wouldn't have suggested that, Ken.
We still have 11 starters. I thought that we were going to end up with about 1 or 2 from that performance on that first lap.
He got it all crossed up. He's got it all going the wrong way. He comes back onto the racetrack. He goes down, and Jack gives him one up you know where as they come through here on the very last lap. And look at this. That's close. That's Peter Brock there in that red car who's putting a bit of pressure on there.
A sensational finish to what has been a sensational race coming up on their final lap now. Down the back straight and getting set to move into the S's. Kevin Bartlett again holding off John Bowe.
Okay, remember this. Tomorrow they start off in reverse position. In other words, if Kevin Bartlett can hold it together now on these last 2 corners, it means that he's going to start on the back of the grid tomorrow, which is going to be fun for everybody. And look at this. He's got it all the way
John Bowe
off.
again doing a little farming.
And he's going to hold second place as they come through. So Kevin Bartlett waves a happy man. John Bowe.
Jackie, great to have you back on day 2.
Ken, thank you very much. Well, yesterday for me was a tremendously exciting race. We finished off yesterday's telecast with the Commodore race. It's a long while, Ken, since I've seen motor racing to be as exciting as that. With all the top names of Australia, with Didier Pironi from France in the middle of it, it certainly was one of the most amazing races that I've seen, with behaviour patterns, something left to be desired as far as driver etiquette was concerned, but still good racing. And we're going to start off today's coverage with another event in that line, because this is the second heat, and therefore the points that were counted yesterday will also be added to today, and this promises to be a great event. Bob Jane in his very own racetrack here had a lot of trouble. He finished 6th. Didier Pironi, even though Jack Brabham did his very best to take him out totally, finished 7th. Colin was 8th. Jack Brabham himself finished 9th. Dick Johnson was 10th, and filling the field was Tony Edmonson. Now, today, they're reversing the grid positions that they were given yesterday. There's going to be points awarded for this. 110, as you can see from your screen there, goes to Kevin Bartlett. But that means the same number of points are going to be awarded today. So it's certainly not impossible, for example, for Peter Brock to still win this great event.
And of course, naturally, there is also the opportunity from people right around Australia to win a Holden Commodore 4 pace car simply by going into their Holden dealers. And the pace car used on this event, which has just left the circuit at this moment, is the one that could be won by some lucky Australian. There we are, from the air, Calder Motor Raceway live on 105 stations. Let's have a look at the scene here from the air and then move down to trackside.
And look at that, we're now looking down on Jack Brabham with one of our cameramen right beside the great Sir Jack and a pretty lady wishing him all the very best. Jack Brabham, a man that I've raced against so many times, tremendously talented and one of the great men of motorsport.
As a matter of fact, Jack was telling me that he went straight into the first corner, shut his eyes and was warned. As a matter of fact, all the drivers were warned that they would have to drive just a little more sanely today. Richards and Pironi, they collided. Pironi spun out and came back into bumps at Jack. Looking forward to the race today, he said. A lot of fun in his own quiet manner. Would have certainly been a little bit more competitive if the cars would have been in Grand Prix, but he said it was fantastic to have a person like Alan Jones here, and it was great to be out here on the circuit and also helping some of the younger people in Formula 2 and also in Formula Ford.
Well, the lineup as we see it right now, we have Jack Brabham, who in fact is in pole position. Then we have Colin Bond alongside him there in the front row of the grid, and you can see Colin Bond again with a pretty lady paying attention for him. And there you see the lineup there with the starting numbers, the starting positions and the car numbers, etc. Jack Brabham, Colin Bond, then Didier Pironi in the next row with Jim Richards. Then on the third row, Peter Brock and John Bowe. On the fourth row, you've got Kevin Bartlett and Bob Jane. That's a little tidy number for you. Then you've got Dick Johnson, Tony Edmonson, and bringing up the rear, Charlie O'Brien, all out on his own because it's 11 cars that are running here. And there you see the lineup. And remember, it's 110 points that the winner gets. A little creeping, and oh, Charlie O'Brien started off at least 30 miles an hour. Charlie O'Brien's gone through and taken the lead. I'm sure he's going to be penalised because the starter pointed a finger right down at him. Look at the weaving and ducking as they go in there. Jack Brabham is in the red car on the inside. He comes out of that in third or fourth position. O'Brien's already very wide coming out of Repco. They're side by side already. A little bit of dust and gravel being put up there. They're three abreast coming down from Repco.
And there's certainly much even in this much more even than yesterday in this first lap. I think there's much more determination here, Jackie, with these drivers today to make up for some of those bad lines of yesterday.
Listen, don't think about it. Look, what do you call that for a line? They haven't even got on the racetrack yet. There's more on the grass than anything else. Really side by side, pushing it as hard as they were yesterday. Let's see who's coming through there. Can we read the numbers? It's almost impossible. Brabham certainly dropped back quite a lot. Coming onto the front straight, and there's cars all over the road.
And Peter Brock was saying that the first lap yesterday was horrendous, and naturally the first lap today has been that way for them. Car number one, Charlie O'Brien is leading, but as you said, he could have been and may have been penalised by the clerk of the course.
Well, he did jump the start. There's no question about that. From our commentary position here, we can see it. And there you see again, slow motion, the replay coming out of there. They're all over the place. That's Repco that they're coming out of. The car on the right-hand side, I can't even see his number right now for the dust, but he's back on. Charlie O'Brien is reading at this time. Jack Brabham is there. And we're back live now. The blue flag has been shown. That's the flag to suggest to people that there may be somebody overtaking. Brabham's in third position right now.
And Peter Brock, of course, in the black car is trying to make up some sort of position there. Peter Brock, a man who has a great reputation at stake here too. Yesterday he didn't do so well in this event, but it's certainly a much tighter field right at the top. A bit tidier there too, I think, Jackie, coming into the straight.
Well, I think Peter Brock's in second position right now. It could be that he's in there. Let's see. It's car number one, then car number 7. That is Peter Brock. Then car number 6 is John Bowe. John Bowe's well up, remember. They've got to consider the points of the future.
John came second yesterday.
That's Dick Johnson, car number 3 there. But still in the lead on the road at least is car number 1, Charlie O'Brien. Car number 2, Tony Edmondson's right at the back of the field. He's had a moment. He's been in trouble, so therefore he's right at the back of the field.
And the positions after 2 laps, it's been changed. Charlie O'Brien is in the lead on our screen, followed very closely by Brock. We'd have to, and John Bowe in third position. We would have to wait for the officials to give us the official placings at the end of this, but that's the way the race is running at this moment.
It does look by the flash that came up on our screens that the officials may have already considered it a penalty for Charlie O'Brien to have jumped the flag, and we'll have to wait for confirmation of that. And
Colin Bond, of course, in the first 4 too. He's not a man to be left out of contention, but he looks as though he's opened up a fair distance between himself and the rest of the cars. Charlie O'Brien, as he comes down towards Repco again.
So Charlie O'Brien, officially, a word from the officials, has been penalised by 1 minute. So
And
poor old Charlie, anticipating that start, is a kind way of saying he certainly jumped it. And look at this, car number 11, gentleman Jack Brabham, totally in the wrong lane, obviously thinking of something else.
And Tony Edmonson bringing right up the rear. Tony seems to have dropped out of contention altogether. But there we have the placings, the official placings at the moment after 3 laps. Peter Brock, 1. John Bowe, 2. Didier Pironi, 3. He's certainly made up some time. That's Tony Edmonson now bringing up the rear, and the tyres screaming as they come through Blow Weave again and enter the straight. A little bit tidier, Jack.
Well, Jim Richards right now is in 4th position. He's up in 4th position. Kevin Bartlett's in 5th position. Remember the man who won yesterday. He's in 5th position. As they come past here, the start-finishing line again. Bob Jane's in 5th position.
And Jack seems to have dropped right back, running into second last position. Tony Edmonson just crawling down the straight as the rest of the cars pour through on Repco.
And here we are again, right off the road. Car number 10 is Colin Bond. Colin, he was out in a Jaguar, had his wheels fall off yesterday. He looks like his car's falling off today.
He's certainly accustomed to that sort of traffic and that sort of roadway too, because he's one of our leading rally drivers.
Well, he certainly prefers it on the outside. Jack Brabham, there he is in the red car, using a little bit of the green and brown stuff.
I think he may have decided that discretion is certainly the best point of valor, and he's decided to pull out of the fray at this moment after being involved with at least 3 shunts yesterday.
Well, that's Dick Johnson he's got in his sights right now. Poor Dick Johnson, if he's seen what happened to everybody yesterday that was close to poor old Jack, must be trembling in his driving seat right now.
And Colin Bartlett is trying to make up time down the straight too. Charlie O'Brien still in the lead, but of course penalised 1 minute for jumping that start. Peter Brock out there officially. John Bowe, Didier Pironi, 1, 2 and 3, and the rest are trying to turn it on down general credits back straight as they head towards the S's.
Well, putting it in the points level right now, you would have to look at John Bowe as the leader, and there you see the job that Colin Bond has to have in hand. He's not the man in our picture right now because it's still Jack Brabham that's in our picture, and the man trying to get past him is Dick Johnson. In fact, he had passed Dick, so Dick's busy trying to repass him again. Jack Brabham, with his off-course excursions, certainly has fallen well behind the leading bunch.
Kevin Bartlett was saying that he would try to keep it straight and clean. He just drove and drove yesterday, and he, although he was starting from further back, said he would desperately try to get up in the front. But at this moment, Bowe and also Brock seem to be able to keep him out as the main bunch pour down the straight. And looking back, we have 3 cars practically locked together.
Well, there you see a show there in number 7. He's got alongside. Peter Brock's alongside. Can he do it? This is a real tight number. And there you see Didier Pironi in car number 9 there. He seemed to be in problems too. They've got closed right up together. Peter Brock, in fact, has now taken the lead, going neck and neck down the back stretch. Peter Brock's done it. Can he hold it? And there's Charlie O'Brien has spun right off into the inside. The crowd love it. Everybody's up in their feet. Poor Charlie can't see a thing. It's got the London fog in there. Look at the mess there. He doesn't know where he is. Charlie O'Brien, and here you see the replay once more. Charlie O'Brien spins out. Peter Brock, there he goes. He gets through, no trouble. Spun out all the way, spinning to a stop and getting himself restarted. Number 6 has got himself into second place. John Bowe is in second place. Number 5 seems to be in third place. That's Kevin Bartlett. Kevin's got himself right up into third place now. That's the man who won yesterday. This puts a lot of pressure on everybody. Remember, it's points to count for this Commodore event.
Brocky got helped off the track a couple of times yesterday, but Kevin enjoyed his race, and he's enjoying it even more today. But Brock again up front with Bowe trying to pass him down our back straight as they head into the S's, and this is the problem area for Charlie O'Brien last time, but they've got through it that time a little more safer than Charlie did.
Peter Brock, one of the real talents of motor racing. I prophesy if Peter Brock were to go over to Europe, he could stand on his own 2 feet against any of the drivers in the world in this formula of racing without any threat at all. He could be a very talented man indeed. With only 2 laps to go, he's got a very narrow lead over John Bowe, remember. John Bowe finished second yesterday, and in the point standings, this could be impressive. He could win this championship event if he stayed where he was, and I think he's got his eyes set in trying to win this. Let me tell you what would happen right here, Ken, if you were a real keen racing driver and you were just a little naughty. And about the last lap, coming into the last corner, you would just give Peter Brock a little bump in the rear end. Poor Peter would spin out, and the man in the red car would win, believe me.
I know you've been in several of these events before.
Well, you're just going to watch and see if there are any gentlemen down in Australia here driving racing cars, because John Bowe is in exactly the right position to do this. And as they come down here, there are only one lap to go. So they're only one lap to go as they come round here. Remember, they're on the second lap right now. Second last lap coming up to the start-finishing line. And, of course, there you see it. As they pass there, Brock has got a considerable advantage this time, obviously a wee bit of an advantage. He's got to keep that on this last lap now. They're on the final lap.
And Bob Jane in the back is starting to make his move too.
Now watch for Bowe. He's got to stay very close now. He's got to get right up behind them on this part. Look at them at the back there, side by side as they come out of Repco. Bob Jane's amongst that lock, and look at it the inside. He hasn't done it because Peter Brock moved over into what would have to be considered an unconventional line. Now wait for it. If this were one J. Stewart and he wasn't being very gentlemanly, I'd give that black car a little tap in the rear end about now.
It seems as though John Bowe is just a little bit more of a gentleman than you, Jackie. And then they sweep in towards the checkered flag now.
Well, I don't know if I would have done that, really, but that's the way to do it if you really want to do it and become no friends to anyone. Look at that. Peter Brock, justifiably the winner. John Bowe, therefore, should come forward and win this Commodore event, and Kevin Bartlett, I think, will finish second in that.
And then followed up by Bob Jane as they went across the line in the first four positions, and they have certainly settled down. They've decided not even to go through a quick lap following this event. But as far as it went in Heat 2 of the Holden Dealer Team Commodore Race of Champions, Peter Brock in place number 1, car number 7. John Bowe in car number 6 came in second. Kevin Bartlett, car number 5, came in third. And what a great event.